I'll tell you what, no building on Fortnite is great. But let's get to the topic of the video. This is a bit of a controversial topic, but here we go. I believe that Call of Duty has ruined video gaming today as we know it. Now, I'm going to move on to my points. Call of Duty started their yearly release trend right around the time of Ghost, right after the success of Black Ops 2. Now, in doing so, they made a new Call of Duty every year, just about at the same time every year, around November or December. In doing so, a bunch of other game companies tried to keep up with the flow of Call of Duty and started to release games on a yearly schedule as well. Some notable companies to take part in that were obviously DICE with Battlefield and a few other shooters that you may or may not know about. Now, the problem with the newer CODs, with Modern Warfare and Cold War, etc., is that there is so much packed into that one game that it's about over a 200 gigabyte game. Whenever they add an update, it's either another 19 gigabytes or something absolutely goddamn horrible, and you can see it have an effect on the gameplay and the performance and everything over time. I don't know if you've played Call of Duty in a while, but there's kind of 4 games in one now, with Vanguard, Cold War, Modern Warfare, and Warzone all packed together into one little neat package. There are, however, some unique players who have managed to stay their own course and make their own path in the video game industry, and it has worked out very well. For example, with id Software and Doom, and Doom was a very successful shooter, and it innovated on things that old Doom games have done, and it was really well received. Like From Software with all the Souls series. Smash came out very well. There's very huge Smash tournaments and all kinds of things going on for Smash, and that came out very well. Team Cherry, they did very well on Hollow Knight, and they're still working on Silksong. That's probably going to be amazing. And Cuphead, which took 7 years to make, and everything was painstakingly hand-drawn, just as it was on Hollow Knight, but very differently. Was a very good game, and the last DLC is still being worked on and still not even out yet. And I imagine it's going to be a delicious last course, as it's named. Now, the problem with rushing releases, or trying to keep up with other video game companies and their release cycles, or trying to at least keep up with the industry at all, you'll have glaring issues like we had in Battlefield 2042, or Cyberpunk, or even issues in Warzone Caldera, or literally basically anything else. Even Assassin's Creed Unity suffered from the same thing because Ubisoft tried to release an Assassin's Creed every year, and so far Assassin's Creed has suffered from it. Valhalla was probably the best thing that they've made in a very long time since Black Flag, in my opinion. The root cause of the problem can be traced all the way back to when Call of Duty started their yearly release cycle. I don't know if you've noticed, but ever since then, indie video game developers have really shined in their fields, like making games like Stardew and Hotline Miami and a few other things like Undertale and No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky released horribly, but over time it's actually gotten pretty well received and pretty fun to play, depending on what you do, obviously. In my opinion, I believe that Call of Duty should probably take a step back and maybe take a little bit longer to make a new game instead of keeping up with the Joneses and adding more and more onto a already packaged item. I feel as though, as a video gamer who has played games for nearly all my life, that quality is far better than quantity, and a bunch of video game developers need to understand that and hear that, unfortunately. And like I said, there are some rare people out there, like obviously Devolver and id Software and FromSoft and all the things all the titles I mentioned earlier and developers I mentioned earlier. But it's kind of hard when the big players don't do the same thing, and they don't put the same amount of time and care into their game, and you can see it affect the gameplay and the core performance of the game sometimes, and it's somewhat upsetting when you come back and try to capture something from your childhood and it's entirely different and sometimes nigh unplayable. That's why I decided to throw in clips from Call of Duty 3 and a few other things in here, just to give you an idea of what I mean. There was no problems with those games back then. I remember playing them as they were and being happy with them, but nowadays I just find myself being upset with the game rather than the gameplay, or myself for not being good or something, and like it's usually poorly balanced things and overlooked bugs and rushed game physics and many other things like that that probably need a really good hard looking at, like, because that's how you get issues like Battlefield 2042 and Cyberpunk 2077, among many other things. At least Cyberpunk is playable now. I haven't even looked at Battlefield 2042. I don't know what they're doing with it, but I remember Battlefield used to be great before they tried to keep up with Call of Duty. I think the last good Battlefield was probably Battlefield 5, but the last enjoyable Battlefield that I thought about, like, that I poured all my time into, was Battlefield 1. And I don't know, like, to give you a good idea of how a good parallel that is, you see they released Battlefield 1 and then they did Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty World War II was rushed and it flopped horribly, but Battlefield 1 was amazing and it went off really, really well. So if anyone can learn anything from this, it'd be Call of Duty. And Activision, maybe take a step back, take a little bit longer to make your next game, and make it a good one, huh? Make it Black Ops 2 worthy, something like that. Anything like that, honestly. But I didn't want this to be a long video, so I'm gonna close this out with saying thank you to the video game developers still making amazing games. Thank you to Concerned Ape for Stardew Valley. Thank you to the developers of No Man's Sky for all the fixes. Thank you for Hotline Devolver and Hotline Miami 2, and thank you for Undertale. Thank you for all the indie games that don't get too much praise or get talked about in the community by millions of people too much, like even Hollow Knight, and I can't wait for Silksong. Thank you, Team Cherry. And yeah, it's just been a great year of checking out indie games and playing other things that aren't by a big AAA title, because after a long time of playing AAA titles, you look at things that you did in your childhood and you can't capture that whimsy, and it just kind of fades away after a time, which is alright, and nothing lasts forever. But you can always go back to your roots. So with that being said, thank you for watching the video, and yeah, my name's Hal. Peace out.